All right, I found this new, well, sort of found, but this popped up on my feed. This Honkai Star Rail creator called Star Rail Crusader. I saw like the first minute or so of this video he has called "Dr. Ratio is a Fool," and it seemed very interesting. I wanted to do a reaction to it. It might we might have a new creator to do reactions to, and that doesn't hurt. So let's just jump right into it and check this out. I love the
Ladies
intro
and
already.
gentlemen, boys and girls, trailblazers and trailblazerettes, gather around and prepare yourselves for tonight. We journey once more into the Design Gazette, the show where we get to explore the most philosophical, the most mathematical, and of course the smartest aspects of your favorite characters' designs. Tonight, prepare to witness a fusion of mathematical brilliance.
I don't know if he
and
only said
medicinal
mathematical because he's doing
genius.
Dr. Ratio
The
now,
stage is set with the
or he always
equations
says
of
that.
rebellion and
Maybe he
script written
changes his
in the
intros to other
language of
videos.
numerical mundanity. Our next guest doesn't just solve equations, he prescribes solutions for any dullness your mind may be afflicted with. A prominent member of the Intelligentsia Guild, by day he strives for his knowledge to be better, and by night he influences the phrase Genshin would never. Ladies and gentlemen,
Where is this from? Zanier. You cannot mention Dr. Ratio without wanting to just twisting that knife in the Genshin and saying Genshin could never.
Genshin would never. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to have your minds expanded, your horizons broadened, and your ignorance obliterated by the one, the only, Dr. Veritas Ratio!
I am Dr. Ratio, a scholar and teacher of the Intelligentsia Guild, and one of the mediocres.
Okay, this is episode 9. I didn't realize that. I don't know if maybe we'll do more reactions to the previous videos, or I might just watch it on stream. I don't know, it depends how this goes. I do want to point out that he is a hunt character, and based on the way the lore is, he should really be erudition. This is why. When the game first came out, 1.0, everybody, with their path made sense to the kind of personality that character had. Everybody who was erudition were like seekers of knowledge. You have Herta. QQ is, I don't know. She's kind of like, meh. She's kind of a stretch there. Serval, she's a scientist, a seeker of knowledge. Stuff like that. But then Himiko, she's an engineer, mechanic, scientist. But then you have Harmony, they're leaders. Asta, she leads. She pretty much runs the space station. Yukon, she's a leader and like somewhat of a military leader. I forget the specific name in the Lofu that she works with. And I don't know, Ting Young, the dead woman. She leads the Merchant Guild. These are leaders. Harmony characters are leaders. Hunt characters, they're fighters. They kill. They go in for the kill. Preservation characters want to protect. March, she just wants to protect people. Japard, he wants, he's a defender, and so on. But then, we get characters like Jin Yuan. Why is he erudition? I mean, it's just for the meta. It's not for the lore. And then, Nihility characters were mysterious characters. Kafka, mysterious. Pela. I want to say mysterious because what do we know about Pela? She's kind of weird, and then there's some lines in there that she's not really quite the quiet person she portrays herself to be, and that she's really good at doing screamo metal. Because she's part of Serval's band and she's singing. There's some dialogue there. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but that's the way it is. But now it's like they kind of given up on that. Like, he's clearly not supposed to be Hunt. Why is he Hunt? I don't get it. But I'm sorry. I paused the video way too long just for that little rant.
Dr. Ratio, a scholar and teacher of the Intelligentsia Guild, and one of the mediocres. If one day your brain shows symptoms of dullness, then please give the doctor a call.
This one of the mediocres. Is that a
After my
faction?
days as a Genshin player, you certainly have lifted any
Dude,
symptoms
just
of
deal with it.
ignorance,
You
I
could never.
guarantee,
Hey,
my good
what did
doctor.
Kalis
However,
do?
Before we get into the nitty-gritty of our favorite free 5-star character, I would like you, my dear audience, to take a moment to cast the spell of appreciation by hitting that like button, sending me a
SAS Perkippy.
Thanks for reminding me, guys. Like and subscribe. Button's right down there. Come on, chill with me.
below, and be sure to subscribe for more videos breaking down all the details of your favorite bath-loving husbandos. And with that, let's jam. In the heart
game
of
is
the
this?
Mediterranean, where the Aegean breeze carries the whispers
I've
of
seen this
myths
game.
and legend.
It's
They lived a civilization whose city-states and olive groves
Assassin's
bore
Creed,
witness
right? It's
to the birth of democracy,
one of the Assassin's Creed games, the
philosophy,
one in
and of course,
well,
chewing
Greece.
gum. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about ancient Greece, a civilization that thrived from 800 to 146.
Wait. Yep, this is definitely an Ubisoft game. Look right here. Look right down here. Check out the characters.
Greece, a civilization that thrived from
Bloop.
800
Okay,
to 146 BCE. Old Greece was a collection of independent city-states that influenced much of our modern ideas of culture, philosophy, and democratic ideals. This was mostly because ancient Greece was home to great thinkers like Socrates and Plato, epic poets like Homer, and bloodthirsty demigods like Kratos.
I destroy everything I touch!
Nudity
that was my
aside,
favorite
the most
version of
prominent form
Kratos.
of ancient clothing in Greece was a garment called the chiton, which was
Is that how you
worn as a
pronounce it?
basis for all Greek outfits due to its simplicity. This was usually accompanied by a larger outer garment called a himation, and in the men's case was then topped off by a cloak fastened onto the shoulder called a chlamys, and also remember those sandals. As you might have guessed, you can find all of these articles of clothing
would've just
in the
called those
basic
robes.
structure of Dr. Ratio's outfit. The loose white basis is very chiton-like, the outer navy fabric serves as a himation, the hanging black cloak is a chlamys, and of course, the look is varnished by those Greeky sandals. Of course, in typical Star Rail fashion, it is modernized with a suit-like black shirt and baggy pants, but it still manages to maintain that ancient Greek aesthetic, which is very important to Ratio's overall design. Case in point, the gold ornament on his left shoulder is
Okay.
shaped like an owl.
I was wondering
In
what this
mythology,
thing
the owl
was.
is linked to Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom.
Okay, I want to point out, like, I'm sure there's a ton of this kind of stuff in this game. I know Genshin does it a lot too, especially with the names of the Archons, that I don't even realize until I watch a video like this, like a Vavi video, like spot that points out all the stuff I miss in all the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne and stuff like that. Which is weird because I know this exists, but I can't spot it up. And I run D&D games, and I do the same thing with my D&D worlds, where I kind of do research on like myths, legends, history, and stuff, and try to combine some kind of thing into my own makeshift world. So I'm not surprised they do this in games. I'm just surprised that I'm not spotting them. I don't notice it. It's so like it's just integrated into the world, you know.
The owl's nocturnal nature and keen observation skills aligned with Athena's attributes of summation, influence, and deduction, which in turn are names of his traces. Nice. There is also the laurel wreath you can find tousled in his wavy hair. In Greece, the laurel wreath was a symbol of victory, honor, or achievement, and was often awarded to victors of the Olympics, military commanders, poets, and scholars. It is also
I
the
didn't know
symbol of another Greek god,
the wreath thing
Apollo,
was
who
a
is often
Greece thing. I
portrayed
just didn't
wearing
know
a laurel on
what
his
it
head.
represented.
Interestingly enough, he is also a god of knowledge, but whereas Athena's knowledge is more strategic and practical, Apollo's knowledge is meant to be more artistic and educational. This could allude to Ratio's character himself, as he doesn't just want to learn, but also teach and share his knowledge with anyone he can.
And
I
also
don't
strike a
mind
pose.
revealing my true colors if it helps me teach students and treat patients. But in my experience, it's usually counterproductive.
This brings us to his need to constantly wear an alabaster sculpture wherever he goes. The styling of the sculpture is very idealistic, with perfect proportions, balanced curves, and otherworldly harmony that makes it look as if the figure descended straight from Olympia itself. All characteristics of the classical period of Greek sculptures. In fact, several of the idols spawned from Dr. Ratio's technique are parodies of existing Greek sculptures. This includes the Scobolus, Polykletos, the Orator, and...
The JoJo? Yeah!
これは
It's impossible not to notice this.
Welcome to the JoJo Bizarre Adventure Happy Hour! Here's every JoJo reference in Dr. Ratio's design!
This right here is the best part about Dr. Ratio. Just the memes.
かっこいいポーズ
レロレロレロレロ
The Golden Ratio
レッスン5だ
やれやれだぜ
てめえ
ストーンマスク
ジョジョ
チーザーキラークイーンバイザマス
Killer Queen, in my opinion, is the best of the JoJo villains. By far, not even close.
ハートアタック
And of course, Peter Man.
The Pillar Men were just... They were awesome. Killer Queen was the best. Pillar Men were just awesome.
Copyright cut! Don't know what came over me there. Well, let's get back to your usual programming, shall we? Over to you, good doctor.
The beauty of truth is that it never changes, even when no one understands it. Well, that's true for me at least.
A ratio is a comparison between two quantities and is expressed in how many times one of those quantities is contained within the other. Ratios are fundamental in mathematics and are used in many fields such as finance, engineering, and science. It is mathematics that is fundamental to our everyday lives. However, when discussing mathematics in light of a Greek-inspired character, it would be remiss if I did not mention Pythagoras. Pythagoras, the man responsible for your mathematics homework, was a
I
mathematician.
want to point out that he didn't mention the Thomas. Wait, was it Edison? Was it Edison with the apple?
Engineering and science. It is mathematics that is fundamental to our everyday lives. However,
Yeah,
when
like right
discussing
here.
mathematics in light of a Greek-inspired character, it would be remiss if I did not mention Pythagoras. Pythagoras, the man responsible for your mathematics homework, was a mathematician and philosopher who laid the foundation for the development of mathematics and philosophy in ancient Greece and beyond. One of his most prominent philosophies was that our universe is purely mathematical. According to Pythagoras, there are two basic levels to our universe. The first level is the physical world, the one we can see and experience with our own senses. However, the level below that is an abstract and mathematical structure that underlies our entire universe, a world of numbers.
I forget where I heard this. It was like in some anime where they was like talking about this, in which it's possible, it was theorized that you could create a mathematical equation to create your own universe.
In geometry. This led him to the famous statement, "Everything is a number." When applying this to Dr. Ratio, we can observe various formulas, graphs, and numbers comprising his splash art and battle effects, alluding to how he sees both the physical and underlying mathematical worlds that surround us. Furthermore, there are other references to historical intellectuals in his kit, such as Sir Isaac Newton, Virgil, Plato, René Descartes, and other smaller nods. Nevertheless, there is one intellectual that heavily influences Dr. Ratio as a character more than any other. In Latin, the word for truth is called veritas. In various contexts, it may be associated with the pursuit of truth and the importance of honesty and authenticity.
Oh, so
From our
that's what that word
interactions with
means.
him, we definitely see an eccentric and rather blunt fellow, but I would argue Dr. Ratio is always sincere
Maybe he
and
didn't
faithful
slap people with that
when it
book when
comes
he
to
had to
his
clean it so
intentions.
much.
He is first and foremost a scholar and teacher, a man of academics that wants knowledge to be widespread, be that through debate or reiteration, and in many ways these characteristics seem to resemble a certain Greek figure by the name of Socrates.
Which is why you should be
Socrates
erudition,
was a Greek
not hunt.
philosopher from Athens who was credited as the founder of Western philosophy. He was an enigmatic figure who authored no real records of his own and is mainly known through second-hand accounts of other classical writers such as Plato and Xenophon. Socrates' philosophical approach, otherwise known as intellectual midwifery, involved engaging in dialogue with others, asking questions while challenging assumptions, and through a process of inquiry and dialect, he sought to uncover the underlying truths and expose contradictions in people's beliefs. He believed that a pursuit of virtue and cultivation of wisdom were essential for living a good, fulfilling life. He famously claimed that he knew nothing, as true wisdom, in his view, consisted in recognizing one's own ignorance. Dr. Ratio certainly has cured himself of his own folly, taking inspiration from Socrates as he actively
I do know that because I heard this saying like in different ways before, that it's important to know what you don't know. Like recognize that there are things that you do not know instead of trying to act as if you do know or proceed with ignorance on things that you don't know as if you did know them. Just recognize that you don't know everything and that there are still things for you to learn.
guides and teaches others so that they may not be plagued by ignorance. However, Veritas himself is far from what one would call a genius.
To stand aside and observe is the best treatment one can give. There is a disease called foolishness that is harder to cure than any ailment.
Oh, it's pretty
When you are
rampant.
10, they call you a prodigy. When you are 15, they call you a genius. By the time you hit 20, you're just ordinary. Veritas Ratio has been a talented man since a very
What
young
anime
age.
was that?
He displayed outstanding results in maths, physics, and even philosophy in his high school years. And after acquiring his 8th doctoral degree, Ratio was awarded the first-class honors degree, an achievement that remained unparalleled in the history of his university and was likely to remain unmatched for generations to come. But no matter how amazing Ratio's accomplishments were in the eyes of ordinary folk, the Aeon Noose never once batted an eye at him. His achievements, his intellect, his fervor, it was all nothing when compared to true geniuses like Skrulum and Herta. And no matter how much he expanded his knowledge or debated concepts, he was never invited to the Genius Society. Because at the end of the day, all he was a mundane, ordinary man.
So that's what you mean by when he
But
says he's part of the mundanes.
what really is the limit of an ordinary man? His mind, his knowledge, his worth, none have been perfected yet. If you
I do want to point this out about the geniuses in the Genius Society. Like, apparently there was a genius who was like became part of the Genius Society for like a couple days because like they were born, became part of the Genius Society, and then died. Apparently, in order to become part of the Genius Society, it's not just that you got to be smart. It's like you have to like be born or created with some kind of special talent for geniuses. Where like your brain is just like created upon birth to be extra special. And I think that's what this guy's talking about right now. They're like, Ratio wasn't born with the ability to be extraordinary like everybody in the Genius Society. This is something that he's actually worked on himself.
truly were to be
Which still doesn't explain why he's not erudition, just because News didn't look at him. I mean, he's still a seeker of knowledge, right? I mean, News didn't look at Genuine, and that guy's erudition. Even though he should probably be Hunt. You know, Ratio should be erudition, while Argenti should be Hunt. That should have been switched around. You know, just to make it make sense in the lore. Like with the rules and structures, they kind of said, whatever. I gotta get off this. Back to the video.
believe that a genius was born with something superior to you, then it is impossible to overcome them. No matter your effort, your knowledge, or creativity, you will lose because you see it as a foregone conclusion. It's a trap that will lock you into a spiral of failure and ineptitude. There is no point in comparing your skills to another. Instead, you only have yourself to improve on. Veritas Ratio might not surpass the Genius Society today. He might not surpass the Genius Society tomorrow, or even 30 years from now. But if he gives up on knowledge itself, if he gives up on even trying, he will remain ignorant for the rest of his life, and miserable for all that remains. Talent is something that blooms, but instinct is something you polish.
While geniuses wander among the stars, the ordinary can't even trace their footsteps. Those less gifted have no choice but to walk alone, enduring a lifetime of tumbles and triumphs. But even a life marked by failure is a life worth living. It is only in moments of solitude and despair, when help is absent, that fools grasp how to pick themselves up.
He's spitting bars right there. Esse et precipice, whatever.
Trailblazers and Trailblazerettes, I hope you enjoyed this mathematical examination
Late
of
again,
Dr.
I see,
Ratio's
and by
design.
two-
If you found
Oh,
yourself
okay,
captivated
he's
by
talking
the
to himself.
geometry of what we've explored together, don't forget to wield your light cone of appreciation by hitting that like button, subscribing to this humble Crusaders channel.
You know, absolutely. I enjoyed that greatly. I loved it so much. I'm gonna go through his. Let's see what else does he have. That's his newest video. Okay, he has one of Ruan May, Top 10 Dream Star Crossovers, Gazette on Luolcha, Gazette on Argenti, Honkai Star Rail Complete Story Recap Part 1, Gazette on Dick Topaz, Jing Liu, Ambassador Lune, a Yukon. See, ranking every character trailer in Genshin Impact. Kafka Gazette. Every Ultimate in Honkai Star Rail. Advanced Guide and Combat in Honkai. So, yeah, what's his oldest video? 8 months. Not even a year this guy's been at it. 14 videos. Yeah, I loved the edits. This was really fun. I enjoyed it greatly. It taught me a few things. So, you know, how dare you educate me? So, yeah. His link for the channel is going to be down below in the description. You know, subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to my channel while you're at it. And, you know, till then, hope you enjoyed. Later.